Hey everybody, Christian from Treasure Town here, and today we're going to be speaking all about the Utah State Quarter. Now, these Utah quarters, most of them are worth about 25 cents, but there's going to be some that have some minor characteristics or pretty major things going on that are going to make them worth well above that. Could be 10 bucks, could be $1,000, and it'll all boil down to what it is. So varieties, errors, conditional rarity, will be covering all of it, full comprehensive run through. So let's head over to my presentation and we'll get started. This video is sponsored by Whatnot, a live stream auctions and shopping app that I frequently sell coins and collectibles on. My link at the top of the description gives you $15 off your first order when you sign up through it, so definitely check that out. Plus, it's a great way to support my channel since any buy that you make with a new account gives me a nice bonus too. Hope to see you on some of those auctions. Let's get into the video. Let's kick things off with the Utah Quarter, Crossroads of the West, the joining of the Central Pacific and Union Pacific Railroads featured, but there's a ton to look at both on the front and the back of these coins that you can find some more valuable varieties, and we'll start with some of the front, more basic things, get into the back, and then there's a ton of errors for whatever reason. Even though it's relatively uncommon to have them on these types of coins, we've got them. So, in the 2007 range, but we see a nice doubled earlobe, just clearly separated below the main part there of that, front earlobe, and then also a little cud or die break in the B that's going to be a good die marker to confirm that you've got, in fact, this double die obverse, one of the more common types of varieties found on these Utah quarters and quarters in general, but we also see a second one that's not protruding quite as strongly, but still definitely there underneath that first earlobe, and then lastly a third that's going to be found on the satin finish. So that one, it's different. The satin finish coins not going to be released into circulation, but if you have one of the Unk sets that features them, definitely check it out and make sure that you don't have this, and it's a more clear variety as well. But there's a bunch on, or actually I forgot about this one, evidently. Nice separation below, though it's not quite as separated as some of the other ones. And make sure that's not just a dent. But the ones I wanted to talk about, was more excited, was the Kaneka recognized double die reverse coins. This one has clear protrusion on the left hand side. There's also going to be one on the right hand side, and sort of all over in the next few slides, that main spike in the center of the reverse design. You can look along it and see if there are any sort of doubling evidence throughout. So there's maybe a little bit clearer of one over here. Nice double die reverse. Again, the valuation probably not too much ahead of $10 here, and this one almost goes internal with a little bit coming on the side, and then this last one probably one of the more significant ones. Again, it's not like a huge doubling, but it's enough where it's been recognized multiple times by different sources, whether it's Kaneka as an organization or John Wexler, coming up with different varieties here. And then we also have some conditional rarity, but not quite as much. I don't really submit this sort of thing. I don't think that the odds are really ever in your favor, and you'd have to do PCGS kind of high fees when the margins are like this. I mean, if you're sure you have a 68 plus, go for it. But oftentimes when more beginner collectors submit, it's pretty rare that they get these upper condition grades and then the satin finish. Not enough upside. Same thing with the clad and the silver proof coins. But now let's go into some of these errors, because this one is unbelievable. By this time, the mint had been much better, especially on the striking stuff. Often it's like planchet errors, but in this case, there was a deep reverse die cap, so this coin gets stuck to the obverse, and continues to get struck over and over. It gets a deep imprint from that obverse die, and then this hits into other coins a bunch of times, forms a nice cup and loses its design over many strikes in a row. Sold for over $500 a few years ago. There's also this struck through reading. So basically some of the reading, I guess, would have fallen out, or in some way ended up between the die and the planchet, gets deeply struck in, and the proof error is much tougher to get out of the mint. Often these end up in proof sets. Somebody must have noticed it, pulled it out, and that's a pretty good high value 2007 proof set, $1,200 on that one. We've also got an elliptical clip, so presumably would have gets held back and somehow sliced off sort of in an oval forming cut, and then there's a little crescent piece that's fallen off somewhere and is going to be, maybe struck itself or filtered out, sold for over $1,000. Then we also have an underweight planchet that has 2 obverse indents where other coins might have been struck over or on top of it, and then probably have their own missing indent or missing design elements when they've been struck. This sold for $215. And then lastly, or maybe this was our last coin. Yeah, I thought that there was one more error that we discussed, but 3 cool proof ones. Often I sort of have to scramble for some of the business strike stuff, and then we can't even fill out 3, but fun to be able to highlight some more unique types of things in addition to this wide plethora of interesting doubled die reverses, and then some of the more traditional doubled earlobe on the state quarters. Thanks for watching the video, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to visit our website, treasuretown.com, to stay up to date on everything going on the channel and possibly get some great deals on coins and collectibles. We look forward to seeing you on our future videos, and best wishes until then.